Welcome to Leading Organizations That Matter, a podcast about leadership and how we find impact, integration, meaning, and joy in our work. I'm Ray Spadoni, and today's topic is planning versus discovering. I am an active and avid hobbyist photographer, and I have been for a very long time. I realize that everyone's a photographer now because our phones have amazing cameras, but I've been creating images with, quote, real cameras since I was given an old beat-up one as a kid. Photography helps me to see the world, to be in the moment, and to remember. I like creating art, especially outdoors and while traveling. Now, there's a debate that goes on among landscape and nature photographers between those who like to endlessly plan for their adventures. These photographers, they study maps and weather reports, and they wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to hike out to the great vistas at sunrise, and they plot out all their footsteps to capitalize on the golden moments of photography. But then there are those for whom doing all that planning takes the fun out of photography. They are the wanderers, the opportunists, the discoverers who get a thrill out of not knowing what's around the very next bend. I've discovered through the years that a balance between these two different approaches works best. It's important to know where and when the sun will rise and set and how to get to the good spots and what the weather is going to be like when you get there. But it's also important to be open to what is actually around the next bend, to the unexpected, and to make sure you've trained your eye to see what you might not have anticipated and what you weren't specifically looking for. I think that all this applies to career planning. In my coaching and mentoring practice, I sometimes work with younger professionals who are plotting the great adventure that will be their careers. And I'm struck by the fact that some are planners and some are discoverers. The planners plot out the various stepping stones that will lead to wherever they're headed, and typically they know where they're headed. They have it all figured out, or they feel uncomfortable when they don't. It's that feeling of anxiety over not knowing that frequently drives them toward a mindset where they want to map out everything in advance, and maybe even setting up contingency plans and alternate routes. Some planners are really good at it. The discoverers like to be solely in the moment. And so when the moment's good, they're good. But when things turn south, maybe because they have a new boss who isn't great, or there's a conflict with someone at work, maybe there's some kind of downturn at their company, or they're laid off, then they're often caught flat-footed, not sure where to go next. As the photography analogy suggests, I'm sure you saw where this was going, balance when it comes to career planning is very important. I think it's critical for people to have a vision, a sense of where they'd like to go. But by the same token, it's great when people are open to what's happening around them so they can spot opportunity when it presents. I know this has been incredibly important in my own life. I found that a good way to strike such a balance is to ask my clients what it is that they value, rather than to name a specific long-term career goal. It can be hard and oftentimes even unhelpful to talk about what they'd specifically like to be when they grow up with some measure of precision. Most people, though, can talk about the type of work, the environment, and the organizational mission that appeals most to them. Most of us know what we like and what we don't. Once their values are clear in such conversations, then it's helpful to discuss options, possible career destinations, and then to evaluate those against the values. As these individuals then, sort of move through their careers, naming and understanding their values up front can prove as a benchmark, a guidepost, so that when something unexpected happens, they can more quickly evaluate it as an opportunity or as a distraction. Perhaps this would be a useful way for you to think about your own career aspirations and a good way to find that balance. Thanks for listening. Leaving a positive review and letting others know about this podcast will help a great deal. My mission is to help empower organizations that matter by supporting those who lead them. I offer coaching, mentoring, and consulting services. You can learn more about me and my work at raysbedoni.com.